Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our Banking Infrastructure and API Solutions Demo Day. Infrastructure companies are transforming the technology and financial services industry through APIs, enabling virtually any software company to offer financial products directly to their end customers through embedded fintech. It's a win-win-win situation for the end user, the fintech, and the institution embedding the solution. Today, we'll be taking a look at 6 startups from our ecosystem in the categories of data aggregation, payments, card issuance, open banking, and core connectors that are playing a key role in transforming financial services. So moving right on to the housekeeping, if you could all remain muted throughout the session if you're presenting today, please submit all your questions through the Q&A at the bottom of your window and use the chat feature if you have any general questions for us at Plug and Play. Okay, we're gonna hop right into the presentation. So today we'll have M10, Deserve, Open Legacy, Railz, Sila, and Hydrogen present. Every startup will be pitching for 6 minutes, followed by a 2-minute Q&A. Every startup can use their Q&A to finish presenting, but then obviously it will cut out of their Q&A time. When your 6 minutes are over, I'll be turning on my video just to signal that those 6 minutes are up. If you want to use the Q&A for the rest of your presentation, that's up to you. All right, moving right into M10. So M10 is a payment modernization platform for banks that deliver instant 24/7 domestic and cross-border payments without regulatory and monetary policy risk. So please welcome their CEO and founder, Martin Nelson.
Thank you, Mona. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Great. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Martin Nelson, co-founder and CEO of M10. We are a platform provider improving payments and payment modernization by leveraging APIs. In fact, we grew out of one of the pioneers in open banking. We spun off from Token.io, which I was also part of co-founding. So let's talk payment modernization. Payment modernization is the solution to fundamental problem in today's banking environment. And the fact is that the current infrastructure that's used for payment is terribly antiquated and doesn't meet the needs of banks, businesses, and individuals. And payments in general is obviously a massive industry. I believe McKinsey says its global revenues is somewhere about $2 trillion. So that's a big nut to crack. But so where do you start? Well, at M10, we picked cross-border payments as the starting point for payments modernization. It's still a large subset of the payments market that experiences a lot of pain, and that's been noted even by the G20 earlier this year that spells out the main challenges being cost, speed, access, and transparency. There are subsegments of this that we are sort of laser focused on, and that has to do with some of the particular markets. Now, the reason for these slow and expensive cross-border payments is fundamentally the reliance on correspondent banking. So let me try and illustrate that here with this slide. What you see here is the situation when you move money from the yellow bank to the blue bank at the bottom. It goes through a number of intermediaries. Those are called correspondent banks. And when a payment goes through those, each of these intermediaries need to screen the transaction. They need to screen for sanction screening, for anti-money laundering, for counterterrorism financing, and what have you. And each of these intermediaries then introduces latency, they introduce cost, and often cause errors that needs to be manually addressed. Now, on the left side here, you see the M10 version of this, where it's a sort of hub and spoke model, where the sending and receiving bank connect into this joint shared infrastructure. And what that does is it cuts out the need for the intermediaries. So we are able to perform cross-border payments instantly, 24/7, and at a very low cost. What we deliver is a cloud-based financial market infrastructure, we call it FMI for short, where all participating banks connect into the same system. And there are shared ledgers for each currency and shared services such as an FX exchange. There's a director service, there are compliance tools, there are smart contracts, and what have you. And banks integrate with this infrastructure using a few APIs. And then you have PSPs and developers accessing the M10 network using APIs, developing applications. Now, we do have a mobile app and web admin interfaces, but we truly operate under the model of API first. Now, let me comment briefly on the shared hierarchical ledgers that I mentioned previously. The hierarchical structure really mimics today's two-tier monetary system, where M0 is central bank money and M1 is commercial bank money. And this structure really is critical in order to maintain stability in the financial system and to facilitate cross-border payments without correspondent banks. So banks enjoy a number of benefits from this type of system. Clearly, the instantaneous of cross-border payments results in sort of low transactional and operational cost. There are fewer errors. Banks are able to provide differentiated product offerings or corporate offerings that generates new revenue. And perhaps one of the more interesting parts is that it really puts the bank into pole position for digital money era, which is indeed inevitable. Now, we're starting at the bottom of this application pyramid with B2B cross-border payments, and we're working ourselves up. It's not necessarily a linear path, but this is more or less the approach we're taking. Now, the underlying magic, if I want to call it that, is that we have built a Byzantine fault tolerance DLT or blockchain that's purpose-built for payments. We looked at many of the general purpose solutions that were out there. The big issue with all of them is that they don't really scale to the transaction volumes that retail payment systems require. So we built this as a purpose-built with the shared hierarchical ledgers. There are shared services, and we are able to demonstrate over 1 million transactions per second on this ledger. We do have a smart contract engine. They're open, secure APIs, and we made it very simple for banks to integrate. Now, the key differentiator versus some of our competitors, such as Swift and Ripple, is the fact that M10 doesn't use correspondent banking or Nostr accounts like both Ripple and Swift do. And that our throughput performance at 1 million transactions per second is really orders of magnitude higher than any of them. And yes, we do achieve that using a DLT or blockchain. So where are we with this right now? We raised a seed round to build a product. We have demos available for that. We are in the midst of building a cross-border payments consortium, and we're just weeks away from going into production here in the US. We have a stellar team with seasoned executives, multiple $100 million exit. And what I'm asking from you depends on what your role is. But we're looking for bank partners to join the network. We're looking for FX service providers to join, operators to run the service, and of course, investors to help fuel growth for 2021. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So everyone will see just a quick mention that there's a poll popping up on your screen. If you want an introduction, please click the yes button and we'll follow up after the webinar. So for the first question, how many banks must be on the network for this to become valuable for them?
Yeah, that's it. That's a frequent question we get, and the short answer it depends on the use case that the bank is addressing. Large multinational banks are typically evaluating M10 to manage their internal cash positions in various countries, and in those intra-bank use cases, it doesn't matter how many banks are on the system. In a cross-border and payments environment, sure, you do want to have counterparties. And to address this, we are focusing on a few key corridors where we're building out sort of small concentrated networks that allow that cross-border to happen. So that's how we're addressing the sort of chicken egg problem.
Okay. So what type of clients do you have, or are you looking for B2C or B2B, banks, fintechs, non-FS?
Primarily B2B clients. In some cases, there are retail banks that are looking to expand sort of remittance programs. We are still sort of the back end of that. We're not providing the front end, but it's very B2B focused.
Okay. Are you covering cross-border payments to and from Brazil, or plan to do it soon?
We plan to, yes.
Okay. For M10, what is different about your solution versus Airwallex?
Versus what?
Airwallex?
Air Wallet?
Airwallex.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that tool or solution.
Okay, maybe it was an anonymous question.
Happy to do the research and answer later.
Perfect. So whoever asked that question will follow up. All right, I think that is it for the Q&A time on this one. So thank you so much. And we are going to move on. The next startup we've got today is Deserve. They're a digital first, mobile centric, highly configurable credit card solution that uses ML and alternative data. They partner with FIs, fintechs, and modern consumer brands to develop, rapidly deploy, and power white label and co-branded credit card programs for any audience. Their platform also provides millennials and Gen Zs fair access to credit products and the tools to achieve financial independence. Please welcome their co-founder and CEO, Kalpesh Kapadia.
Thanks, Mona. Can you give me the screen access? Share.
Yes. I think you should have screen access.
Yeah, I think I have it.
Perfect. There we go.
Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
So I've just prepared a 6-minute presentation video. Exactly. So I'll just go through that and then we'll take questions for 2 minutes.
Sounds good.
So let me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes. I can hear you. We can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. I think I had to take off my headsets because of the video sound.
That's right.
Hello, I'm Kalpesh Kapadia, founder and CEO of Deserve. At Deserve, our mission is to modernize the credit card stack. The credit card industry has been stuck in the 1990s with archaic and rigid COBOL and mainframe infrastructure that is slow to react to fast-changing market conditions. Its limitations of paper applications, batch processing, mailing cards and statements by USPS, taking payments by checks have been exposed now more than ever in the COVID era, and the industry's digital transformation is accelerating. We at Deserve have built industry's most modern infrastructure entirely in the cloud to provide digital and mobile-centric experiences driven by APIs and SDKs, perhaps as advanced as the Apple Card. We provide our partners with latest digital marketing tools, unique underwriting capabilities that leverage income and employment verification, in addition to the traditional credit bureau data, so that you can convert more of your customers and delight them with customized rewards and benefits along with superior user experience. Our CTO, Rajan, is going to demonstrate the power of our state-of-the-art platform next.
Hello, I'm Rajan Anadure, Chief Technology Officer at Deserve. If you think about it, every customer who has a credit card also has a smartphone. The credit card is plastic, very limited functionality, and you really can't innovate much. It's a commodity. While the smartphone is a supercomputer. We all know what is possible by just looking at the App Store. Except for Apple Card, the entire credit card industry is still stuck in the 90s. It's all about plastics and paper statement. At Deserve, we reimagined and built an entire credit card platform with a mobile-first approach. And the results are amazing. Let's take a look.
What you're seeing right now is my credit card app built on the Deserve platform. You would notice the transactions do not look like a typical credit card statement. They are real. They are laid out exactly the way you understand. T-Mobile, Target, GitHub, with their proper brand logos.
Now you're looking at a transaction made at my local 76 gas station. When was the last time you could understand a gas station transaction in your credit card? Here we have the actual photo, precise location, and also showing a history of all the visits to the gas station. This is a French restaurant near my house, and we even show the tip amount I paid. That is the amount of control we have over data. In spend analysis, we provide real-time insights into how you spend. They are all beautifully laid out into categories which are easy to understand. And you can go into each one of these categories and look at transactions within them. Our rewards infrastructure is a key differentiator in our platform. They can be fully customized based on partner needs. Rewards models can be built based on the amount you spend, what categories, merchants, number of payments, or any data point within our system. If you ever have to dispute a transaction, you can do it right from the app. No need to call customer service. And we have a lot more capabilities as usual with great user experience. You can make payments, look at your payment history, use Face ID to look up your card number in case you want to make an online purchase. You can change the look and feel of the app, change your profile, freeze your card, look at statements, and a lot more. Now for the fun part. I'm going to apply for a credit card as a brand new customer. We will be doing CIP, fraud verification, and underwriting approval. Once approved, we will issue a digital card, add to Apple Pay, and make an online purchase. I will be able to do all of this within 5 minutes. Deserve, along with Apple, are the only two MasterCard certified digital first platforms. By uploading my driver's license and doing a selfie, we significantly reduce fraud without adding friction to the user. And information from my driver's license is automatically pre-filled in the application. As a platform, we also have the option of fetching customers' bank deposit data through Plaid in addition to credit reports. Here, I'm actually pulling data from my Wells Fargo account. Finally, I authorize the app to pull my credit report. And boom, I'm approved. Next step, I accept the cardholder agreement, which allows us to activate my account and issue a digital card. Now that I have a digital card, I can add to Apple Pay without leaving the app, and I'm going to make this as my default card. As you see, I have $10,000 available and my card is in the wallet. Let us go spend it. I'm going to add $10 to my Starbucks card. And if I go back to the app, you see I have spent $10. The Starbucks transaction is available real time, and as usual, it's beautifully laid out. It's an online transaction. We have the brand logo, Starbucks photo, and the categories eating out. And everything happened real time. New credit card program launches are typically multi-year integration efforts with an army of consultants. We believe it should not be that way. At Deserve, we have an out-of-the-box digital-first solution where our app will be reskinned with the partner's brand colors and logos, integrated with your single sign-on system, and you can bring your own underwriting and rewards model and still be able to launch in a matter of months. For partners who want to embed within their existing app or build their own, we have a rich and easy-to-use open API infrastructure to build on top of our platform. Every feature and functionality in our platform is available in both the MasterCard and Visa network. The future is digital. Customers might forget their wallet, but not their phone.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Over to the Q&A. The first question we got is, are you open to offer a white label solution?
Yes, we do offer a white label solution. We have a number of partners, both in the banking space, in fintech space, in digital native brand space, as well as universities and associations. So we offer white label card solutions.
Okay, perfect. With which issuing banks are you currently working with?
We're currently working with Celtic Bank and Evolve Bank, but we are bank neutral. We have programs that are Sallie Mae programs that we run on our platform that are Sallie Mae Bank. We have Bank Mobile as a customer. So, any bank can use us. You don't have to go and work with our banks.
Okay. What type of companies are you targeting as partners for your white label program?
So it could be as large financial institution, they currently don't have credit card as a product or have a no meaningful market share. If you look at the top 6 banks have large market share in credit cards. So those would be natural targets. Uh, any fintech companies that have a debit card or checking account product that want to add credit card, or a brokerage product they want to add credit card, would be targets. Any digital brands, if you look at Apple has a credit card, Amazon has a credit card, others will have credit cards soon. So those would be the targets. So anyone who wants to foster customer loyalty, better engagement, embedded experience within their core application should look at us.
Okay, got a lot of questions coming in here. How many customers do you currently have total?
So we have B2B customers and we have B2C customers. We have a portfolio that caters to a strong niche, but it's an R&D and test lab for our platform. And we have a B2B, probably approaching 10 partners who have products on our platform.
Okay.
And just for comparison, Synchrony has 12 or 13 partners on their platform.
Wow, not bad. When you say you're partnering with educational institutions, are you looking to target international students for credit programs who don't have credit history?
We do have that as a strong niche. That's how the company was started. So we are the only player in the market who offer cards to people without social security number or credit score. So that continues to remain on the B2C side, our niche that we traffic in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. That was it. We'll follow up with introductions from the poll. Thank you.
Great.
Wonderful. Next up, we have Open Legacy. They pioneered digital-driven integration as a way to handle the most complex part of the application integration, the connections with legacy systems, mainframes, applications, and databases. The founders discovered a way to do these integrations far faster than any other current method. It's a solution for today and tomorrow. Please welcome Shane Kent, the General Manager of Open Legacy in Northern America.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, perfectly.
Let me see. I just want to make sure I can share my screen. And you can see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So appreciate the introduction and appreciate the opportunity to be here with everyone today. So as mentioned, Open Legacy is really about becoming digital to the core. And so what does that mean? We are essentially a design time platform that enables the easy access to legacy infrastructure and the digitizing of those assets into reusable digital components to provide APIs, microservices, and functions. And so essentially what does that look like? And we know across many of the big banks, insurance sector, across the board, there's a wide variety of legacy source systems as well as complex legacy integration. So whether that be mainframe, iSeries, SAP, Oracle, stored procedures, REST APIs, vSAM, IMS, RPG, assembler, all of the complex scenarios that have been built up over decades create challenges when trying to move at the speed of digital. And so ultimately what the Open Legacy design platform enables is the auto generation of these digital components, the SDKs, that are then reusable and part of a platform that enables the code generation of services. So it's very much a design time platform that can be run and executed anywhere across any environment. And so as mentioned, really, if you think about what we're challenged with is, these legacy infrastructures that have been built up over decades still run and contain the majority of the world's data and information. But at the time when they were purchased and acquired, they weren't really designed for or set up to be able to operate in the digital age. And so they're closed and they tend to be proprietary. And it's why ultimately digital transformation and modernization efforts become challenged. So it's not that these systems can't provide exposure and access, but it's really the ability to move at speed and the efficiency across the entirety of the process. And so if you think about current infrastructure and the design of and construction of APIs or microservices, you have to work through the layers of people and parts of the organization that have proprietary knowledge and skill sets around business logic and things that have been created over a long period of time, ultimately to be able to support the channels. And what this creates is multiple tracks and streams of individuals across the organization that are now required to participate and play a part in ultimately the creation of a production ready service from, let's say, a mainframe perspective. What we often hear is this entire process from business requests through the entirety of the process to developing a production ready service takes anywhere from 2 months to 5 months to 8 months and longer, depending on the organization. And ultimately, what the Open Legacy platform does is allows you to go direct, right? To go direct to the source system of record, to be able to create these digital components that are accessing through the lowest level communication protocol, that you create these repository of components that are reusable, that ultimately set up for a single developer to be able to run through the entirety of the process, through design, build, testing, all the way through to production ready in as little as a few hours or across a few days. And that's ultimately what the power of the platform is. And so from an impact perspective, what we're seeing is anywhere from 10 to 20 times faster creation, 5x better latency performance improvement of the service, and across the entirety of the process, right? From day one, business requests through design, build, test, governance, security, network, quality control, modifications, all the way through to production ready. That's essentially reducing the labor hours associated with the process by more than 75%. And that's really what the platform does. And here you can see, from a number of financial institutions, banks, as well as insurers, just an example of the magnitude of the impact based off of their baselines and their information, right? 7.9 months versus a month. Number of hours per service on average, 1,124 versus 159. And of course, measuring it from a cost impact, 127,000 cost per service to 17,000. And that is pretty consistent across the board in all of our customers in engagement. And it's all about creating that separation and isolation of the legacy asset, digitizing those components and putting them in that power in the hands of the digital team so that they can support the entire digital process. And we've got an incredible number of partners and support for all of the API gateways. If you think about us, we're really a platform system API that's in a horizontal perspective and allows for standardization and normalization across all legacy systems. I'll turn it over to you in terms of any specific questions about the platform or the technology.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So the first question from the audience is, does this convert code off of the legacy system, or does the code remain on the mainframe but is exposed via microservice APIs?
Yes, great question. So we are not a code conversion platform, and a lot of the scenarios that we see in terms of patterns of acceleration are actually in support of whether it be full-scale migration or a hybrid scenario where you've got serverless as well as still some mainframe applications. The platform enables the support of both of those because we're able to very quickly stand up the repositories of SDKs and the abstraction layer within 60 to 90 days. That creates the isolation, allows you to deliver from the business to the business immediately, while the migration or refactoring or optimization of the legacy infrastructure can take place behind the scenes.
Okay. How long does it take to set up the API factory framework?
So it really, in terms of setting up the factory, it takes typically between 60 and 90 days on the legacy architecture and infrastructure to auto-generate the SDKs, whether it be COBOL or IMS or vSAM, The other aspect of it is templating. So the ability to, we template NFRs, security patterns, anything standard as part of the API requirement. And so all of that tends to take 6 to 8 weeks. Once that's set up, then you're able to very quickly, again, within hours, a single Java developer. In one example, a single Java developer in a 2-week sprint, being able to generate 10 to 15 production-ready services.
All right. How do you position yourself with MuleSoft?
We work very well with MuleSoft. We actually decouple the legacy infrastructure and enable our components to be able to be pulled directly into the MuleSoft platform to be able to execute. Same thing with Apogee, WSO2, the IBM Gateway, all the same approach. We also work very well with Talend, Big ID in terms of data and CCPA and GDPR, Calibra, Axway, Dell Boomi, all partnerships we've announced here in the last 10 weeks.
All right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. That's it for time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we've got Railz. Railz provides accounting data as a service API. Railz empowers the SME economy by providing financial service organizations with access to customer data to better assess the true financial health of a business. Please welcome Ron Benegby, co-founder of Railz.
So yeah, thank you for having Railz here today. So I'm Ron. I'm the president and CRO at Railz. We're going to talk about accounting data as a service, specifically related to the small business lending space. And we know it's a space that has had challenges over the years with respect to how it's worked. Specifically around how slow it is, inaccuracy of data, and how costly it is to manage a loan application and then service a client shortly thereafter. So what we've done at Railz is we've looked at the industry as a whole, and we've seen some of the really great companies out there. They're not only innovating through the use of tech, but they're innovating by making the entire process as simple as possible. Companies such as Plaid and what they're doing in banking, Stripe and what they're doing in payments. Railz is doing the same thing, but specifically as related to accounting data. So simply stated, we've developed an API that connects to the majority of accounting software systems that a small business owner would use day-to-day to run her business, his business. And through this connection, we're able to address some of the problems that I've previously spoken about. And then with that, we deliver at Railz 3 core value propositions. It's really as simple as 1, 2, 3. That's what we do. First being data extraction. So that's the ability for our clients to take our API and on demand receive real-time information directly out of their customers' QuickBooks accounts. So they can use it as often as they like. They can pull as much or as little data as they like. It's real-time information, and we call that data extraction. To be perfectly candid, there's nothing magical about that. You can get a couple of guys in a basement to build an extraction tool into QuickBooks in 60 days or so. But nonetheless, it is core to ultimately what Railz is offering, where we start to separate ourselves from the other data aggregators or ETL connectors out there is in service 2 and 3 that we offer. So accounting normalization means all of these systems are all different. They were all built by themselves for their own customers. So it stands to reason when you pull data out of Xero, it looks completely different than when you pull it out of QuickBooks. What our technology actually does is it goes specifically into a data source, looks at the hierarchy within that source, maps the different charts of accounts as related to that source, does the same thing for every other data source we're connected to, with the final delivery being what we call not just a standardized, but a normalized data feed back to our clients. So regardless of whether it came from QuickBooks, Xero, Sage, etc., it always looks, feels the same. Our clients are able to take this information and simply ingest it into their own systems for their own uses. This, while definitely being a strong engineering feat, is really more of a byproduct of having a deep-rooted understanding in accounting and mathematical principles, which, by the way, I don't have, but one of our co-founders is a highly regarded mathematician. And then lastly, it's what we call our insights and analytics engine. Our system tracks over 100 different accounting financial ratios. We've got our own proprietary scoring algorithms tied into credit, risk, fraud, valuation, metrics, and methodologies. Want to be clear, we are not a decisioning system or a decisioning engine and will never become one. But what we do offer is this robust and rich alternative data set that really acts as another set of eyes and that gives our clients the ability to use as much or as little as they like in order to run their day-to-day operations. You take all of that, you take extraction, normalization, and analytics, you put our API around it, and you can be up and running with us in less than 4 hours. It's really that simple with Railz. Everything about our business is simple. Our pricing structure is simple. It's a transaction fee based on usage. It doesn't get more simple than that. 3 established co-founders or founders that launched the company early part of this year. We actually acquired our technology asset from a previous company who had it in market for several years. And because of that, we were able to get to market at a soft launch mid-June with a lot of excitement in the market, both at a client side, as a pipeline side, and also on the investor side, where we recently closed our seed round. We've got some incredible investors, including plug and play, global investors who are helping us build our business and accelerate. So that being said, when you think of Railz, think of us as the Plaid for accounting data. Thank you so much. That's the end of the presentation. Happy to take any questions.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. So first question is, what makes you different from any other competitor?
Most of our competitors out there are what we call traditional extracting tools. So like I said earlier in my presentation, Mona, you can, it's not a lot of effort or magic to build an extraction service out of QuickBooks. It can be done in 60 to 90 days, depending on a few things. What we do is we go a lot deeper than that. We actually focus on the way we look at data, ingest data, and ultimately present data through our normalization and analytics process.
Okay. How has COVID-19 impacted your business?
You know, first of all, this is, the worst thing ever in mankind. So I say this with a heavy heart, but it is actually, I don't want to use the word benefit, but what we've seen out there is the need for lenders to digitize their environment. The appetite for that has grown exponentially, and that has actually significantly accelerated a number of the conversations we're having in market.
Okay. Well, there is some good to it, right? How does the SME give consent for its accounting data to be shared?
Yeah, so we have a simple widget that we've created that works within the workflow environment of our customer. We're not asking them to change any workflows. The SMB simply goes online and provides consent, no different than if they were signing up for a Facebook account with their Google credentials. It takes about 30 to 45 seconds. It's seamless and again, very simple experience.
Very good. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Good seeing you, Mona.
Thank you. All right, next up we have hydrogen. Hydrogen is just like Railz and Open Legacy, which I didn't mention, but also part of our fintech cohort at the moment. And they're an open banking company that allows businesses to configure and embed financial components for banking, cards, and payments with only one line of code and no necessary fintech experience. It helps you launch new programs, earn new revenue, and join the embedded finance revolution in under 5 minutes. Please welcome Mike Kane, their CEO and co-founder.
Thanks, Mona. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I didn't realize I had to share my screen. 1 second.
No worries. Looks good.
Cool. So again, this is Mike. Thanks so much for the nice introduction. I'm the co-founder of Hydrogen. This is me actually on the right, and you're not seeing double. That's my twin brother, Matt, who we run the company together. As Mona mentioned, you could think of Hydrogen as embedded finance simplified. And the reason why we think this is such an awesome opportunity is, as many of you know, almost every company now is offering some kind of fintech product or service. It's becoming table stakes to offer anything, whether you're a tech company, a healthcare company, or just an SMB. But a big problem that exists is it's very, very complicated still, as we almost get into 2021 to offer different fintech components. And that's because most companies that have built fintech platforms are very API centric, very much in terms of workflows, and they require a lot of product knowledge and expertise from companies. So what we offer is a no-code platform. What we try to turn is the left, which is very complicated workflows and components and orchestrations, and make that very simple in a drag and drop interface for our clients. And another problem is it's very difficult to build these products. We say it's not for the faint of heart. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, depending on what you're building. You have to negotiate contracts. You need to hire all these people. So what we've done is we've put this into a more drag and drop component library. You could think of this like a Wix for fintech. Imagine being able to configure components. These components have already been accepted by the different partners for these different verticals. And you could change logos, change colors, as you can see here, embed them with just a single line of code, either through SDKs and web components. We also have white label apps that our customers can use. And we're able to offer this across a few verticals. As you can see here from left to right, our main vertical is our cards product. This we do in conjunction with some partners, and this would be offering virtual or physical cards. We also are launching a money product, which would be PFM or BFM, payments and brokerage. So these are dozens of components that you can embed inside of your existing application. We already have done all of the contracting, all of the data orchestrations, all of the API building, and all of the UI as well. And then next year we'll launch in some additional verticals, and this will give us a full suite of fintech components that we could offer to our customers. What's really exciting about what we're doing, I believe, is really the first to do this in a SaaS way. So we are a true SaaS platform. There's no lockups, there's no minimums, there's no extra extraneous fees. We charge just a flat monthly fee, as you can see here, and we offer the different components to our customers, and they could come and go as they please on a month-to-month basis. And we're able to do this for a lot of use cases. You could see some examples here, not just for fintechs, but if you think of the 30 million SMBs in the US that don't have a PhD in fintech, they don't have product managers, they don't want to sign 5-year contracts and spend $50,000 in upfront fees. You're talking about 1 million plus just financial professionals. It's a huge market. It's really what the embedded finance market is about. It's empowering and democratizing companies to be able to use these different components. And we're really lucky in that we've been able to run a beta most of this year. We were very successful. We spent very little amount of cash and got huge results. So we know it's a big market. What we've been working on now is really just putting everything together, putting a bow on everything, and we'll be ready to launch the platform soon. And as you can see, we have pretty good projections based off of the volume of customers we have signing up and some of our initial traction, which has been helping us to raise capital. My projection is by next year, we'll be able to raise a Series B to really scale the business because we have very, very nice margins and revenue. Not only do we make that SaaS revenue, we also make back-end fees from our partners. So the bank interchange fees, debit card fees, et cetera, we make on the back end as well. So it's a very lucrative business with very little overhead once we've built the platform. Because of that, we've been able to close the first round of funding, as you can see here, and we're open to new investment on top of that if you want to chat with me offline. And then hopefully a Series B next year, we'll be able to close. So with that, I hope everyone, if you're a potential customer, can check us out and sign up for the wait lists and join the embedded finance revolution. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, first question from the audience. There are so many BaaS startups tackling this opportunity. What makes you different from your competitors?
So we're actually not a banking as a service platform. We partner with them. We partner with Cross River Bank. We partner with Marqeta and others, et cetera. We're a SaaS platform. What makes us better is that we're able to play with everyone in a sandbox, and we can connect to all the different providers as needed to offer the service. So think of us more as an orchestrator, as a SaaS provider.
Okay. Who's your biggest competitor?
I would say it's vertical specific. So in the different verticals, if you look at the cards, Galileo is probably the biggest competitor. There's other firms like Synapse, Apto, Stripe is a competitor as well. It's vertical specific. We believe we'll be the first to really put everything together into a platform because it's very hard to do these products in a silo. You can't really just offer cards. Cards need to interact with ACHs, with PFM components. So what we're trying to do is piece everything together and orchestrate it so you could use all these different things on a single platform.
Okay. How are you able to offer a service at such a low price point?
That's a great question. So we have put a lot of money into R&D. We have a standard data infrastructure. So what we've done is we built one data lake and data layer, and we plug in all these different components. We also take on all of the risk from the third parties. So when we contract with them, we're signing the contracts and we're doing the program management and we're doing the banking as a service, et cetera. So we're passing on that cost savings to our customers because we're one wholesale user, and then we're able to plug everyone in underneath us. We're really the first ones to be able to do this on a more SaaS month-to-month basis.
Okay. Last question. How do you handle data and security?
So we actually push all of the data, which is encrypted and stored or PCI compliant, CCPA compliant to third parties. So such as the banking partners, all the KYC information, all the customer information is pushed to them. On the data side, we have data warehousing, data lakes through AWS. So it's fully integrated and piped. And then we don't store really any of the personal data. All that's done through the third party. So it's a very, very SaaS business model.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. On your end, thank you so much for joining. If there's any further questions, I'm sure you can reach out. And if you want an introduction, I see many have clicked yes on the poll. So that's exciting.
Thank you so much.
So unfortunately, Sila is encountering some technical difficulties on their end. We are going to be moving ahead.
I'm here.
Oh, you are?
Oh, actually.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, well, great. All right. Well, then I'm going to hand it over. Wonderful. So Sila is a banking as a service API that makes money programmable and features compliance as a service. I'm supposing this is Nick. Thank you so much for joining.
Can you guys see me okay? Sorry, I was getting some alerts there.
Perfect. No, all good.
Yeah, deck looks good.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining today. My name's Nick. I'm the VP of Growth at Sila. And Sila is a banking, payments, and money API for software teams. We're on a mission to make money programmable. It was not that long ago that sending SMS notifications or connecting credit card payment gateways was extremely complex for developers and cumbersome, oftentimes because they're having to either work with telcos directly or work with the merchant processors directly. And so we're really trying to do the same thing for money. So we see ourselves as a programmable money as a service SDK and API platform that we believe is really going to be underpin kind of the next wave of financial innovation. What we're trying to do is build a stack that is innovative and future-proof, which means that once developers install our code base, as we add new features and capabilities, as our ecosystem is extended, those are non-breaking changes for engineers. So as we do the heavy lifting to turn on new products and services, it's a trivial change for folks in their code base. We see ourselves as with a flexible back end in terms of currency agnostic, bank partner agnostic, geographic agnostic, et cetera. And perhaps most importantly, we're compliant by design. We sit on top of currently the ACH network in the US, which is $55 trillion in annual flows. And by doing that in kind of a layer 2 way, we're able to implement 24/7 banking opportunities. We're not only fast in terms of the money transfer aspect, but also in terms of implementation. For example, we've had customers go from first touch to in production with real money transfer in 10 calendar days. And we've really tried to be developer and startup friendly in terms of our pricing model and the way we structure things, so that whether you're a bootstrap startup or a public company, global enterprise, we've got a really finely tuned pricing strategy for you. Ultimately, what we do is we power compliant, programmable, white label money transfer for any web, mobile, or desktop app. The items highlighted in bold are in market today. So that includes ACH payment and processing, including an instant ACH product that's in beta right now, bank account linking, balance check name matching, digital wallets, fiat crypto on-ramp, KYC and KYB. We also offer no KYC and what we call adaptive KYC to give the best possible user experience for end users. And pretty much anything that you would get from a traditional bank, we're a bank agent for Evolve Bank and Trust, you're able to do with Sila. For things that we don't offer today, we do have a network of partners that allows you to do things like international transfers, bill payment, et cetera. And we have a pretty aggressive roadmap that we ultimately are looking to kind of build out. One thing that's really unique to the way Sila is handling this is with our stablecoin, the Sila USD stablecoin. Today, what it does is it represents an end user's share of dollars that are held in a pooled account. But importantly, what it does is it takes the platform operator out of the funds flow. So the Sila tokens are issued and redeemed between the end users and their bank accounts. The operator's never sitting in the middle of the funds flow, and they're not commingling funds or anything like that. The other thing that it unlocks is the ability to take a 1970s, legacy architecture and go from 3 to 5 business day processing time to 5 seconds. All the while adding 2020 features like anti-fraud, real-time decisioning, being able to do things like instant ACH to prevent fraud that is, affecting 82% of all businesses. The structure that we have also positions us really well with regulated industries. So things that are traditionally high risk, things that you might spend 6 months talking to a bank about, we're able to really move fast on. And what that's doing is, as fintech is kind of eating the world, unlocking all kinds of interesting use cases today. So for example, money transfer to South America, brick and mortar public companies that are turning their retail locations into financial services hubs, being able to load a slot machine from a casino mobile app as Vegas goes to digital currency, platforms that are banking Facebook advertisers, putting loans out to the million or so Facebook advertisers that need to float until they get to break even, and paying invoices directly to Facebook, and kind of, all the last 10 years of cohort around what we think about fintech, realty tech, insurtech, et cetera. Here I've got kind of a breakdown of the way the funds flows work in a P2P example. What we do is we allow our platform operators to call our API to either issue or redeem Sila. So when funds move, we actually create Sila tokens. It's one Sila equals 1 penny. And once they're in that digitized form, there's a lot of cool things you can do with them. You can set up things like escrow wallets. You can do things like transfer funds between users peer-to-peer in real time. You can utilize smart contracts to set up different business rules to move money around. And again, customers, you can also abstract kind of all the compliance requirements that you have to do if you're going bank direct. So we provide all the SARS filings, the OFAC checks, the bank audits, et cetera. When you look at our customers who we're seeing, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of the API. We've got 42 customers who are with us today. We just ran our NPS scores in October, and they're at 80. We see a breakdown of really 3 companies across different stages. And that includes everybody from accelerator startups to Series A fintechs and folks who are trying to monetize payments, up into companies with over $1 billion in annual transaction volume. A quick look at just kind of some activity across the network happening here in real time. And importantly, one of the things that we do here is get people up and running really fast. So the middleware that's in place to kind of leverage best in quality partners like Plaid and Alloy to kind of get these APIs to talk together and really abstract the complexity around things like fraud are what developers are really kind of coming to us for. So all you need to know is, request KYC on this individual. You don't need to know that there's 4 or 5 different APIs talking to each other and all kinds of logic that we've kind of put in place for you in the background. We're an official Plaid partner, so we offer the auth, identity, and balance products as part of our API. Just reducing the number of vendors developers need to work with, and also extensibility. So we're working with best-in-class partners. It allows us to come up with a lot of extendability in the feature set, customization around particular use cases and particular verticals. And so that's Sila.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I think we have time for one quick question. We're running a bit over. It's already 11. So what's the profile of a company that should work with Sila?
Anybody that's looking to monetize payments as part of their business model. Anybody that has a need to store value within their application and tie it to an end user.
Okay, one quick one. Do you hold any money transmitter licenses? And if not, who provides that legal coverage?
So we're an agent in the bank for Evolve Bank and Trust.
All right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. That I think is it for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, we have 2 more webinars coming up, both on October 28th, one on Bridge the Gap, Responsible AI in Financial Services with the NAIC and our InsurTech group. And then we have one, oh, this is actually November 28th, I was wrong, but this one's on employer health solutions. So we look forward to seeing you all there, and please fill out the quick survey to give us some feedback on the webinar. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Please reach out if you have any questions, if you want to get in contact with any of the startups. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.